Dragi učenici, pre svega, dragi profesori, dragi direktori škola, dragi gosti, novinari, dobar dan i dobrodošli na ovu tribinu o Evropskoj uniji. Danas ovde imamo goste iz 10 škola širom Srbije, pa bih ja zamolio sve škole koje prozovem da nam se jave, da ih svi mi zajedno pozdravimo jednim velikim aplausom. Tu je Poljoprivredna škola sa domom učenika iz Valjeva. Ekonomska škola Đuka Dinić iz Leskovca. Prehrambeno-ugostiteljska škola iz Čačka. Srednja škola Nikola Tesla iz Boljevca. Zatim imamo gimnaziju iz Sjenice. Srednja škola Petro Kuzmijak iz Ruski Krstur. Srednja škola Svetozar Krstić Toza Vučije, Leskovac. Medicinska škola Nadežda Petrović iz Zemuna. 9. Beogradska gimnazija. I Tehnička škola iz Beograda. Još jednom, veliko mi je zadovoljstvo sve da vas ovde pozdravim i nadam se da ćete uživati i učestvovati u ovoj debati. Pre nego što počnem bilo kakvu priču, želim da vam kažem da zaboravite sve što su vam rekli profesori, sve što su vam rekli roditelji i da u ovom razgovoru koji se ne pruža baš svakome, pitate sve ono što pre svega vas interesuje, a posle ona pitanja koja interesuju možda vaše roditelje ili profesore koje su vam rekli. Ali pre nego što počnemo ovu debatu, dozvolite vam da u kratko jednoj formi predstavim EU informativni centar. EU Info centar je otvoren u maju 2011. godine i namenjen je da pruži građanima sve informacije o današnjoj Evropskoj uniji. To predviđa proces evrointegracija, kako funkcioniše Evropska unija, gde naći informacije ili evropske regulative, kao i sve programe koje nudi Evropska unija. Tako, na primjer, imamo program Erasmus Mundus za studije u zemljama članicama Evropske unije, informacije o volontiranju u zemljama članicama i, veoma važno, o projektima koje finansira Evropska unija u Srbiji i svetu. Naravno, to je ono što sigurno vas najviše interesuje, a to su projekti i mogućnosti da idete na studije u Evropsku uniju ili da volontirate i steknete veoma važno iskustvo. EU Info centar organizuje mnogobrojne aktivnosti pod imenom Evropa otvoreno i tako je otvoren za organizovane grupne posete, organizuje aktivnosti kao i stručne, tako i javne tribine, jedna od takvih je baš ova, kao i mnoge kulturne manifestacije. EU Info centar je otvoren svakog dana, svakog radnog dana od 10 do 19 časova i subotom od 10 do 15, a pored publikacija o Evropskoj uniji, koje možete da nađete na srpskom, engleskom i još nekim jezicima Evropske unije, možete na 6 računara ovde besplatno da pretražujete, a nudimo i svakog dana najnovija izdanja domaće, strane, dnevne, nedeljne i mesečne štampe. Takođe, trudimo se da informacije o Evropskoj uniji budu aktuelne i dostupne građanima Srbije. Pored zvaničnog sajta Evropa na 23 zvanična jezika, informacije na srpskom jeziku možete da nađete na sajtu delegacije Evropske unije, a on je www.europa.rs, kao i na sajtu EU Info centra www.euinfo.rs. Aktivni smo na Facebooku, imamo veliki broj prijatelja i više od 4000 lajkova na našoj strani. Pratite nas takođe i na Twitteru, a povremeno smo i na YouTube kanalu. Putem događaja i kampanja koje organizujemo, EU Info centar promoviše takozvane evropske vrednosti, aktivnosti usmerene projektima koje imaju za cilj društveno odgovorno ponašanje, aktivizam, posebno među mladima, zaštitu čovekove okoline i podršku ljudskim pravima. Svake godine u maju imamo Evropu otvoreno kampanju, obeležavamo manifestaciju povodom Dana Evrope 9. maja. Upravo ovog 9. maja imat ćemo još jednu ovako divnu tribinu, a 11. maja, kao što ste čuli, bit će ta završna tribina na kojima ćemo birati 5 škola čiji će đaci putovati na ekskurziju u Brisel. Pozivam vas sve da dođete baš tada u subotu, 11. maja, i da posetite naš EU Info centar i da možda budete svedoci da vidite koje će te škole putovati, a i da razgovarate ovde i sa gospodinom Dežerom i sa ministrom Obradovićem. Pored Evropske nedeljne mobilnosti, koja se održava svake godine, svake treće nedelje septembru. Prošle godine u oktobru EU Infocentar je bio prisutan prvi put i na Međunarodnom sajmu knjiga. Ja sam video malo pre neke od vas koji su mi bili poznati, koji su već bili tamo, a tokom tih 7 dana sajma organizovali smo nagradnu igru, nagradno crtanje za decu, a za srednjoškolce već poznati kviz Zdravo Evropo. Promovisali smo knjige izdavačkih kuća Srbije koje su finansirane sredstvima Evropske unije, kao i ostale kulturne programe, takođe finansirane od strane Evropske unije. Organizovali smo naravno onaj kviz Zdravo Evropo gde su oni koji su učestvovali dobili veoma zanimljive poklone i nadam se da su vam se dopali. Međutim, jedan od projekata kojima se možda i najviše ponosi EU Infocentar je naravno Evropski dnevnik. To je projekat delegacije Evropske unije i siguran sam da je svako od vas dobio taj dnevnik s obzirom da ste ovde, a vaše izdanje je 4. izdanje Evropskog dnevnika na srpskom jeziku koje se realizuje u saradnji sa Ministarstvom prosvete, nauke i tehnološkog razvoja, kao i Kancelarijom za evropske integracije Vlade Srbije. Srbija je jedina zemlja van Evropske unije u kojoj postoji Evropski dnevnik i izdat je u preko 4,5 miliona primeraka, to je 4,5 miliona vršnjaka iz 27 zemalja Evropske unije i to na 23 jezika ima Evropski dnevnik, baš sličan, odnosno isti kao što imate i vi. To je bio jedan kratak uvod o EU Infocentru, a sada ću vas pobliže upoznati sa vašim današnjim domaćinom. Danas ćete imati jedinstvenu priliku da razgovarate sa šefom delegacije Evropske unije u Srbiji, ambasadorom Evropske unije, gospodinom Vincentom Dežerom. Verujem da vam je mnogima poznat, gospodin Dežer je ambasador u Srbiji već 4 godine. Dobro poznaje naš temperament, naše običaje, ali i naš način razmišljanja. Za evropske institucije radi preko 20 godina. Francuski je državljanin i tečno govori i engleski i nemački, služi se italijanskim i španskim, a govori malo i naš jezik, što se nadam imat ćete priliku i da čujete. Ambasador Dežer je magistar političkih nauka, evropskih poslova i prava, a završio i postdiplomske studije političkih nauka. Pošto verujem da neki od vas znaju, neki ne znaju, da sam ja Milja Milićević, sportski novinar na Prvoj, ja ću vam otkriti da je gospodin Dežer veliki ljubitelj sporta. Oni koji su pratili 26. Beogradski maraton imali su priliku da vidite kako istrčava polumaraton, a bavi se takođe ronjenjem i bio je instruktor skijanja, a igrao je ragbi tokom srednje škole. Nemojte da se plašite, neće primeniti ragbi ovde, danas će samo odgovarati na vaša pitanja. Međutim, pre nego što pozovem gospodina Dežera ovde da nam se priključi, ja ću vas zamoliti da pogledamo jedan video u trajanju od 2 minuta koji će možda i najbolje odgovoriti na pitanje zašto 23 zemlje Evropske unije vide i Evropsku uniju kao njenu budućnost.
The European Union. Would my life be any different if it didn't exist? Would it be better? Would it be worse? Linking our resources and economies has helped us preserve peace in the European Union for almost 70 years now. Something that had never been achieved before. Would this still have been the case if we had not come together? By pooling our resources, we invested in projects for EU citizens, regions, environments, cities, farming and businesses. This means infrastructure, research, education and innovation, and that in turn means jobs. But then again, couldn't my country take care of these things on its own? Well, membership of the EU does mean access to a market of 500 million citizens and a common currency. And a larger market means greater business and trade opportunities, more growth, more goods, more services, more choice for consumers. It also means more opportunities to work and live in other EU countries, not to mention that we can travel without showing a passport within the Schengen area. Still, we live in an increasingly globalized world, and there's no denying that today, large, powerful countries outside the EU are also shaping our future. Can my country really make its voice heard by standing alone on the global stage, especially on important issues such as global warming and global trade? EU countries share the same values and concerns, so it makes sense to stand by each other, to participate in shaping our common future, to discuss the next steps for the EU. What's your view? Make it heard.
Pozivam njegovu ekscelenciju, ambasadora Vincenta Dežera, da nam se pridruži ovde na sceni, a vas pozivam da ga pozdravimo jednim velikim aplauzom. Pre nego što čujem vaša pitanja i gospodin Dežer odgovori na vaša pitanja, a nadam se da ste ih spremili, još jednom ću vas podsjetiti da su vam slušalice kod vas koje imate, da imate simultani prevod i da nakon govora gospodina Dežera, pitanje, ukoliko želite da postavite, imate naše ovde volontere kojima se javite i koji će vam dati mikrofon. Ali pre svega, zamolit ću gospodina Dežera da vam se kratko obrati.
Dobar dan svima. Dragi učenici i uvaženi profesori, zadovoljstvo mi je da sam danas ovdje u društvu učenika srednjih škola iz Valjeva, Leskovca, Čačka, Ruskog Kuštura, Boljevca, Vučja i Beograda. Dobrodošli u naš informativni centar Evropske unije i nadam se da ćete prihvatiti moj poziv da otvoreno razgovaramo u današnjoj Evropi, Evropskoj uniji i putu Srbije ka njoj. Otvoren sam za sva vaša pitanja, kao i da čujem od vas kako vi vidite proces eurointegracija Srbije. I dozvolite da nastavim na engleskom jeziku. Thanks. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and very happy to welcome you all here in the Dom Mladine. It's the house of the young people. This is where we as European Union have our information center, where all citizens from Serbia, the young, the less young, can come and have information about the European Union. I'm very happy to welcome you all here today, and also your professors, which are sitting at the back there, because I think we have been trying to explain what is the European Union. This is why I think you have all received this Europa diary, which we are producing with the Ministry of Education, which is distributed. Serbia is the only country outside the European Union that has the privilege of having this Europa diary, so I hope you are making good use of it. I'm hoping your professors also are stimulating discussions and debate on the European Union in the school, and that you can find the suitable information on it. You saw the small presentation, this 2-minute video. It's about the European Union, why we are building a European Union, what is the interest of having it, what is the interest of a country to join the European Union. I think, let me start on that very briefly, just to say that we are living in a globalized world. The world is obviously changing every day, day by day. Internet is there, you can travel all over Europe, you can see everything on the screen, on the televisions immediately, whether it's what's happening on the marathon in Boston, what's the challenges with North Korea and other places. So we have all of that available. Obviously, there are difficult challenges that we all have to face in the world. The challenges, and I'm looking also at everybody upstairs, the challenges that we have is we are a planet of 7 billion people today. Tomorrow, in 2050, it will be 9 billion of citizens, and we all have to live together. We all have to live on this planet. We have to make sure everybody has access to clean water, everybody has capacity to have access to food, and to safety and security at the same time. So there's different way of doing and tackling all these challenges together, tackling them in different ways. I would say either we do it together, as I said, or we do it individually. Germany, 80 million inhabitants. France, 70 million inhabitants. Serbia, 7.3 million inhabitants. This comparing with countries like China, 1.4 billion inhabitants. India, more than 1 billion inhabitants today. So those are our partners. So either we are able to deal with them individually, or we want to deal with them in an integrated way by grouping our forces as Europeans on the international scene. And this is what we have been trying to do with our European integration process. That's why we are today in Europe, 500 million inhabitants, 500 million consumers, and we are trying to always express ourselves in the international forums in tackling all these challenges, environment, energy, security. We're trying to do that by being together, because we believe if we are together, if we are solidly together, we are stronger to express ourselves on that. This is what we have been doing, and we are doing. And of course, the bigger we are as Europe and as European, the stronger we can be. This is why we believe that we are, as European Union, welcoming new members to join the European Union. This is what we will do this year. Croatia, where I was working for 4 years, a few years ago, will join the European Union in July. And of course, we strongly believe that the process should not stop with Croatia, but has to continue, and that all of the region here, all of the Western Balkans actually belong to Europe, belong to the European Union. And if you decide so, because it's a democratic process, as I always say, joining the European Union is not a fatality. Joining the European Union is a choice that every nation can make. If Serbia decides to join the European Union, when you will be voting on this, you will be having a treaty, or an accession treaty, which will be negotiated between the European Union and Serbia, and you as citizens will have to decide, I vote yes or I vote no to the accession to the European Union. So I think that's the choice that is there. My job here is actually to discuss with you, to explain what is good. I'm not saying everything is perfect in the European Union, far from that, but I think over the last 60 years, we've managed to do a lot together, do a lot in ensuring, first of all, stability and peace on our continent between our member states. You remember, I'm coming from France. I was living on the border there in Strasbourg, and my families in the past have lived three wars in less than one century. I think today, when you look at the cooperation between France and Germany, and when I go back to my hometown, Strasbourg, where I made my studies, there's no border anymore between France and Germany. I can cross the Rhine River with my bike or walking there, and there's absolutely nobody to stop me or to impeach this to happen. This is the European Union. This means we are getting rid of the difficulties, what is separating us, and we are working together, trying to work together and to build a common future. This is what we would like to do with Serbia. As you know, Serbia has made a major movement, a major achievement in the recent days, actually, because after 3 years of work, after 3 years of activities, we have had a major agreement that was signed on last week in Brussels on Friday between Belgrade and Pristina. I'm sure you will have many questions on that in the coming minutes. I think this is a major achievement, and I would like to congratulate all of those who have been actively engaged into this process. And that means that we can see that we can build with peace, with negotiations, with dialogue, we can build understanding between us and our neighbors, and we can build a better future for all of us here, and a peaceful future. Freezing conflicts, whatever, is never the solution. We have to look forward, we have to look at challenges ahead of us, and we have to work on those challenges. So I think a major step has been made. We have to continue in that direction, and this is what we will do. And if this is so, Commission has proposed to the member states on Monday to decide on the opening of negotiations between Serbia and the European Union. And this will be decided on the 28th of June by the head of states and government, Mr. Hollande, Mrs. Merkel, Mr. Cameron, and the others. They are gathering at the end of June, and they will make that decision at that moment of time. There are a few issues we still need to do until June, but that's the objective. So that's where we are. I believe that why is the negotiations about? Why is not tomorrow Serbia becoming a member state? Maybe. Well, I think if Serbia wants to join the European Union, 27 members, tomorrow 28, Of course, we have a single market. Of course, we are still having a single currency. We don't have borders in our Schengen area, and so on and so forth. That means that any country that wants to join the club has to adopt the same laws, the same rules, the same games, and this is, all the negotiations will be about that. But once we start the opening of negotiations, it's clear that the objective is membership into the European Union. It will take some time because there's 120,000 pages of legislation, I think, that needs to be adapted here in Serbia and then properly implemented. But that's, let's say, technical work that we can move forward. We need to reform the justice system. As we say, slow justice is no justice. So I think in Serbia there's a lot of work to be done in that framework. We need to be stronger on the fight against corruption. We need to have a better functioning administration here in Serbia. We need to reform some parts of the economy, and I can talk about that with you later on. These are the critical challenge that we need to face for the future. So that's where we are. I'm very happy, very optimistic. I've been here for the last 3.5 years here in Serbia, and I've seen many changes, very positive changes, and I'm sure that we continue on the changes path and we can achieve the objective. But again, objective is for you. It's for you to decide in a few years' time to vote on the treaty. Why do we have a treaty? It's like in a wedding when you get married. You need a treaty, obviously. You need an agreement between you and your partner when you get married. And it's the same for the European Union. That's why we are going to negotiate this agreement between us. And in the meantime, it's good because we have a chance to get to learn to each other better. And we will use that moment of time to get acquainted and then to get into the process of wedding. I think I can maybe stop here, and with the help of our friend here, we will listen to you, listen to your questions, and try to give suitable answers. Again, thanks for being here, all of you. I'm very impressed to see so many students here today, and I'm very optimistic for our discussion. Thanks a lot.
Čuli ste pozdravni govor od njegove ekscelencije gospodina Dežera, kao što ste mogli da čujete iz tog govora. To je jedan brak u koji bi trebalo da uđemo mi i Evropsku uniju. Nas naravno niko ne tera da uđemo u Evropsku uniju, ali da bi u neki brak ušli trebate da upoznate svog partnera. Da bi ga upoznali dobro i da bi vi odlučili, jer ćete za 2-3 godine vi odlučivati da li treba da uđemo u Evropsku uniju ili ne, bilo bi dobro da postavite sva pitanja koja vas interesuju da bi znali da li u taj brak da ulazimo ili ne. Pre nego što postavite pitanja, ja bih vas zamolio da podignete ruku, imate volontere sa strane, da sačekate bežični mikrofon, da se predstavite iz koje škole dolazite i kako se zovete i da postavite pitanje. Ukoliko želite, znači možete postavljati pitanja i na srpskom i na engleskom. Ukoliko postavljate na srpskom, samo bih vas zamolio da sačekate malo da gospodin Dežer stavi slušalice. Ukoliko postavite na engleskom, dobit ćete odgovor odmah. Pa možemo i da počnemo. Evo da imamo prvo pitanje. Evo, izvolite. Evo ovdje imamo prvo pitanje. Iz prvog reda, prvo pitanje. Molim te samo da ustaneš, da se predstaviš iz koje škole dolaziš.
Miša Zakić from Tehnička school, Železnik. And I would like to ask you how will education in Serbia change after she joined European Union?
Well, thank you. Thank you. Education is one of our priorities. I think the major change, first of all, is to improve the education system here in Serbia. There are a number of schools which are still lacking adequate equipment. They are lacking also the adapted curricula because we see that the professions are changing over time, and you need actually to adapt. Informatics, obviously, this is something which has been developing over years. You need to have new curricula, need to have using computers in the schools. All these new skills needs to be developed. The other major element is that you can travel. You can make your studies in universities. If you are a member of the European Union, you can access any of the European universities in Europe. This is our Erasmus program that we have, which is also offering scholarships for students, so you can complete your studies and your specialization in all universities in Europe. You can do it in a way already today, because we are already sending about 600 students to the rest of the universities in Europe. But once you become a member, then there's absolutely no restrictions whatsoever to do it. I think this is going to be the major advantages for education when you join the European Union. And if you pass your diploma, the other thing, if you pass a diploma in London or in Paris or in Berlin, whatever, then you can have these diplomas recognized here. There are automatic recognition systems that are put in place. I'm still discussing from time to time with your minister to facilitate this process, which is not totally always operational, but I think once you join the European Union, this will facilitate. And I can only invite you, first of all, to study languages. I see that many of you are not using headphones. I'm very happy about that. That's a good sign that you are fluent in English already, so congratulations for that. Learn as many languages as you can. It's a great advantage when you are moving, if you want to find jobs abroad, even if you want to work here for whatever companies today. We have a market, as I said, European Union is a market of 500 million consumers. Your companies here are selling their products all over Europe. We have a trade agreement that works very well. So if you want to work in that marketing department, the commercial department, you need to know the languages. So learn as many languages as you can so that you can travel, you can find jobs in this respect, and learn also about the other cultures of the other members of the European Union.
Eto, čuli smo
Drugi pitanje, ali, let's go.
Jedno pitanje iz prvog reda, ajmo da čujemo jedno pitanje sa balkona, ali može sa balkona jedno pitanje? Evo.
Oh, balcony, yeah.
Ja sam Aleksandar Isirinović i dolazim iz tehničke škole Železnik, Beograd. I imam jedno pitanje za vas. Kako se u Evropskoj uniji rešava problem opustošenih prostora u nekoj državi? To je područja.
Well, it's a good question, because it's true that you have two solutions to resolve the problem that you mentioned. One solution is, you say, like in the US in general, you say, we let the market forces decide, meaning it's the investors that will decide where to go, and if there are places where there is good growth potential, they will go there. And if there are places where there is no good growth potential, this will become a desert and people will leave these areas. The other way of dealing with the problem, which we are doing in the European Union, is to have a very strong regional and cohesion policy, meaning we want to have an even development of our territory. We want to think about how our space should look like in the 20 years to come. And for that, we have to have a vision of the development that we want to have. To have a vision means building infrastructures. It means putting education systems in place in these areas. It means using all the potential. Is it rural development? Is it touristic development of these areas? So it means that you need to have a vision from the center, and you have to have willingness on the side of the local authorities. I was just before coming here having a conference with your Minister of Regional Development, Mrs. Karanovic, together with Mr. Stankovic, who is in charge of the coordination body for the south of Serbia. And the south of Serbia is an area, as everyone knows, which is a less favored area of Serbia. And we had precisely a discussion what the central authority can do, building Corridor 10, completing the works on the Corridor 10, bringing energy, electricity infrastructures, high voltage lines. But what we need as well is to have from the local authorities a vision on what are their strengths, what is the potential. Is it spa development like in Medvedja? Is it rural and touristic development like in Bujanovac? These are the concrete issues that we have to discuss and to match together. And of course, we have to put some money, because you don't do anything without money. So you have to plan and to orient the money from the center to this region to help them to develop. And then, last thing you need to do, you need to create a good business climate. You need to really be business friendly in a way, meaning you need to have good schools which are educating the people on the ground on the new jobs, opportunities that will be generated. You need to have good health and education infrastructures in place, and you need to have stability. Because if you don't have stability, I mean in political and in general security and stability, you cannot have economic development, because no investor will go in a place where he feels that there is a risk. Because what investors do not like at all is risks, whether it's political risk or other types of risk. So that's why we are, on our side, always preaching for dialogue and stability, to have precisely stability and predictability for investors. Thank you.
Nadam se da si zadovoljan odgovorom. Evo ima jedno pitanje tamo gore.
Ladies.
Gimnazija Jezdimir Lović, Sjenica.
Dobar
It's not
dan.
about Europe Union.
Izvini,
Šta će-
dole. Imamo pitanje dole, pa ćemo posle balkon. Balkon. Hvala.
One after the other, everybody has a chance.
Dame imaju prednost, zato što je dama dobro.
It's not about Europe Union, it's about this. When you read schools who are here today, why you didn't read our school? We are from Sjenica, Gimnazija Jezdimir Lović.
You're right. In my list, I forgot to mention. I made the point when I came that you were not there, and my assistant here has added Sjenica. So sorry about that. I correct myself. Sjenica,
Thank you.
welcome to Sjenica as well.
Ej, izvoli
You see,
balkon.
you're coming from all over Serbia, and I'm very happy to have everybody here on this place. Okay, balcony question.
Balkon, izvoli.
Ajde, balcony.
Patjarević Miloš, šta ću ja kao mlad čovek dobiti od Evropske unije?
Miloše, molim te da ustaneš da ponoviš samo pitanje i da nam se predstaviš odakle dolaziš.
Iz Valjeva, Patjarević Miloš, poljoprivredna škola. Šta ću ja dobiti kao mlad čovjek i moji vršnjaci ako uđemo u Evropsku uniju?
Miloš, can I ask you, what do you want?
Mikrofon samo kod Miloša. Mikrofon Milošu dajte mikrofon, molim.
What do you think you can get?
Dajte Milošu mikrofon, molim vas. Evo, sad će otkaz.
Bolje uslove obrazovanja.
Ima još nešto, Miloše?
Još nešto.
Ne.
Okay.
That's all.
Good. Well, who is responsible for giving you better education services here in Serbia? I think normally when I'm having this gathering with the students of the schools, sitting next to me there is the Minister of Education, Mr. Obradovic, who is assisting with me and participating in this debate. So we can help countries to do things, or regions or cities to develop themselves. But we never substitute to anybody else. It's your own willingness, it's your own ownership over these reforms which is critical. So if anybody can do something for that, it's your minister, and he is the one who is in charge of that process. We can assist his efforts if he comes and asks us to finance, as he does. is asking us to finance vocation education training. We have, for instance, EIB loan of 200 million to renovate the universities. There are 21 faculties which have been renovated, and we have added, I think, 25 million of euros to equip the universities for that. So I think your worries of getting better equipment, I think, and better conditions, also dormitory for students, this is something that is being, as we speak, renovated these days. So we can help these issues to be tackled. But I will never substitute myself to the one that has a responsibility, which is your government, your minister, which is in charge of this portfolio. So we are here to help the others to perform better, but we will not substitute to the others. So that you can expect from the European Union. Well, you can expect more. I think let's go for more, because education, of course, I agree with you, is a very critical issue, and I understand your focus on this issue as well. But what you can expect, better infrastructures, I mentioned it before. We are, with the authorities again, building this famous Corridor 10. We are trying to build the Corridor 7, which is the Danube strategy to facilitate that the Danube becomes a great axe of communication and of development here in Serbia as well. What we are trying to do as well is to help the authorities to have a better justice system. If you have to wait 5, 10 years to have a judgment in front of the courts, it's much too long. And Serbia, unfortunately, here is on the hit parade of the bad-performing countries, let's say, in Europe on this agenda. And I think, you know, you are 7.3 million inhabitants, I said, and there are about 6 million cases in front of the courts today. So there needs to be a change. So you, as the citizens, can have a better service from your authorities and from your judicial system. We want to informatize the administration to help them to be able. You can access the administration more easily. If you need a birth certificate, if you need, I don't know, a driving license, whatever, you can be in contact more easily with your administration and work with them in this overall context. So it's these kind of changes which are in the process. Other issues, I think, which are important, maybe I hope for all of you, is environment. We want to see that the water that you drink is a safer water, or I would say even the milk that you drink. Maybe some of you are drinking milk these days. It's also a question that needs to be properly tackled. I was just with your Minister of Agriculture this morning, and we were discussing the establishment of a laboratory which will be able to conduct the appropriate testing of the products in the agricultural sector, because as we know, there has been in the recent weeks a little bit of a problem on that issue. I'm not saying we don't have problems in the European Union. Sometimes we have problems as well. Some cows are becoming horses and these kind of things. So we need also to improve the situation there, and that we have to learn from these experiences as well. But I think here in Serbia you have a great potential in agriculture, and the idea here is, of course, to help you to further stimulate this potential.
Evo imamo jedno pitanje ovde dole. Može.
I'm from Nikola Tesla School from Boljevac, and corruption is one of the biggest problems in Serbia. We have corruption in every single part of this country. How you can change that? I want to know that.
Hvala.
You're right. I mean, it's a major problem in Serbia, but Serbia is not the only country where this is a problem. I mean, I'm very happy because out of our 27 member states, there are 19 member states which are above the average grade for fighting corruption in the world. But that means we have 8 other countries which are below the average rate, like Serbia, unfortunately, is still these days. These countries are Romania, Italy, Greece, Bulgaria, obviously, which are also below the half marking line. You know, it's a grade from 1 to 10, and if you are below 5, you have a problem, actually, in this. And Serbia is at 3.4, I think, these days on the fight against corruption. So you're right. It is a real issue. It is estimated that the state of Serbia is losing, because of corruption, some 800 million per year of euros. I'm not talking dinars, I'm talking euros here. So it's a huge amount, and it's a huge problem. What can we do? Well, what we can do is is to help the authorities to perform better and to learn from experiences of others in the fight against corruption. So that means having a better investigation capacity from the police, not just the criminal police, but also the financial police, and have better cooperation between police, customs, for instance, or tax administration, so that they exchange information and can detect when there are corruption issues at stake. We need to have better performing prosecution services. And in the past, I must say, sometimes I was very frustrated because there were many information coming up from the media, from other sources, and rarely, I would say, there was a kick in the police, in the prosecution, to move these cases further and to investigate these cases. So it's a question first of organization of the police, prosecution, and the judges, of course, who have to, when they have the clear cases, to sentence the ones that are corrupted and stealing the money of the state. What we were doing is we were saying to Serbia, if you want to join the European Union, this is something you need to tackle. And I think the good thing is that this government has decided to nominate somebody as the coordinator for the fight against corruption. This is Deputy Prime Minister Vučić. We gave to the Deputy Prime Minister a list of high-level cases. These were cases which were not detected by us. You have here in Serbia an anti-corruption council. So they had made a number of research 5, 6, 7 years ago. This is not new, and these are old stories from the past. And they had a list of 24, and we said to Deputy Prime Minister Vučić, there's this list. What are you doing with it? Are you letting it sleep, or are you going to be active on this? And as you know, he has taken a lot of energy into this process, and I asked a special team of investigators to look into these 24 cases, which are all not minor petty corruption issues, but higher, let's say, higher level of big fish, as we say, cases of corruption. I'm not saying that all the 24 cases are corrupted cases. What we are saying simply, if there is a doubt on these cases, somebody has to investigate and somebody has to look into the issue. Either it's a real case and they have to go to court and to justice, or it's a non-case and they have to close the file and leave it on the side. But I think this is what we've been asking there. The other element is, at the moment, as we speak these days, we have asked Serbia to come with a new strategy and a new action plan on the fight against corruption. This means setting up a number of very practical actions for the future to improve, first, to improve prevention, because the first way to avoid corruption is to have a good preventive system, so that the people are afraid, let's say, to go into corruptive behavior. So the prevention element is a very important topic, to dissuade people who are managing money, people who are working in the administration, who manage the funds, to dissuade them to make a wrong use of it. Or if they do so, they have to know that there will be a zero tolerance. And this is a very important principle that has to be put in the strategy, saying zero tolerance. Anybody that wants to steal money from the state has to pay the price for this. And they have to know that if they're found, they're going to be sanctioned for sure. This is the principle, zero tolerance. The second principle, which is fundamental in this, is to say no one is above the law. Meaning, whatever your name, and you can give a number of names if you look at the press here, whatever you are and what position you are, how rich you are, how important you are in the country, if you are stealing money from the state, you are going to be prosecuted and you will be sanctioned in due course. I was working in your neighbor countries for 4 years, and if you follow the press, sometimes in Croatia, you may find that there has been some changes in that context with what has been happening in Croatia. So this is what we would like also to see happening in Serbia, and I think it is, as we speak, something that is, if you are following the news a little bit. Now, having somebody in the news does not mean that this person is guilty. There's a fundamental principle that no one is guilty until it is proved so in the court. So that's called presumption of innocence. So sometimes we have to be prudent when we look at these tabloids of the press, which are putting lots of pictures of people there. I mean, you always have to have a bit of a distance and to say, well, let's wait what the court will say on this person. It's not for the journalist to make the investigation. It is for the police, it is for the prosecution, and at the end of the day, it is for the judges to sentence if they are convinced that this person has stolen money from that angle. So this is what we are doing. The other thing that we are doing, and I know if you're listening to the radio or looking at the TV, probably these days, we have launched a campaign with the authorities here. There is this agency, the anti-corruption agency. We are helping the agency to have more capacity, have better expertise, and we launched a campaign where every citizen that is confronted with corruption cases can call the number of the agency and denounce the cases of corruption that they are seeing in this respect. So this is what we are working on. So very practical issues that we are dealing to help Serbia to avoid that these people steal money. But what does it mean? I think that if you look at the video, probably this publicity that we have, it means less schools. It means less hospitals and less equipment in the hospitals. Because if somebody steals the money, he steals the money from you. And he steals the money from the citizens. And this is what needs to be avoided. Thank you.
Evo, imamo dosta pitanja s ove strane. Pa ajmo da krenemo odande. Prvo pitanje, dok ne dođe mikrofon, ja ću vam reći, pogotovo Mihajlo, na tvoje pitanje za obrazovanje, šta ćemo dobiti obrazovanjem. Svake godine u korupciji nestane 350 škola. Zamisli kada bi se taj novac samo pružio u obrazovanje, koliko bi nam obrazovanje bilo bolje. Znači i ovo je jedan način da se izborimo za bolje obrazovanje je borba protiv korupcije. Izvoli.
Momčilo Denić, Petro Kuzmjak, Ruski Krstur. Da li je jedan od uslova ulazka Srbije u Evropsku uniju i ulazak u NATO?
No, that's not an obligation for the countries. We have several countries in the European Union which are not member of NATO, so we will not ask for Serbia to become a member of NATO. Again, it's a free will decision. If Serbia wants to become NATO member, that's up to Serbia to decide so. It's clear that in terms of security, NATO brings a number of advantages. As you know, recently, on Friday, when this agreement was signed in Brussels between Belgrade and Treća, between your Prime Minister Dačić and Prime Minister Tači, actually, with Lady Ashton, after they had this discussion, they all together went to see the Secretary General of NATO to offer security guarantees for the implementation of this agreement. But as I said, there's absolutely no obligation whatsoever. It's a free decision. If you want, or if your country wants to join the European Union, NATO, this is again asked for the European Union. This is a free decision, and there's no obligation, no links whatsoever between the two processes.
Idemo malo na balkon. Evo pitanje od ove devojke.
Hello, my name is Bojana Šormaz. I'm from Medical High School in Belgrade, and I'd like to ask, what is it about Serbia? Why are our criteriums so much higher than the other countries, always?
No, I think countries are not, I'm not making scores between countries. I mean, I think everybody has his own problems back home. I think we should avoid always making too much comparison and too much scoring between countries. I think simply the fact is that Bulgaria and Romania, as much as other countries, they started their journey towards the European Union in the middle of the 90s, actually. So that's where they signed the, as we say, agreement with the European Union, this partnership agreement with the European Union. I think for Bulgaria and Romania, it was in 94, 95. So that's a long time ago. And then they became member in 2007, both countries. Serbia signed the same agreement, more or less, with the European Union in 2008. So that's more than 10 years later that this actually took place. So I think, in a way, and very unfortunately, with the breakup of Yugoslavia, obviously, your country and the countries of the region here have lost a lot of time and lots of opportunity. So now it's time probably to try to catch up on this path. We have the agreement signed, and we can maybe accelerate. We can use the expertise and experience of the others and try to move faster. Now, what I want to say on this question, because I got this question very often here in Serbia, I had the same question in Croatia when I was there for a number of years. Why is Bulgaria and Romania member of the European Union and why we're not there? I just explained. Because you started later, let's say, the journey and the process. But we also have to be prudent with the process itself, meaning a country that wants to join the European Union has to be ready to do so, meaning it has to have the right public administration in place, it has to have the right public procurement rules in place, it has to have the real efficient fight against corruption, and so on and so forth. Because, as you know, the two countries I just mentioned, they still have what we call a monitoring mechanism that is looking at the way they are dealing with justice and the way they are dealing with corruption these days. And there are still problems in both countries in this regard, and this is why also both countries, as you may know, are not yet member of the Schengen area, because one thing is you join the European Union, creating a Schengen area, meaning an area where you can travel without controls on the borders anymore at all, is a second stage, let's say, of the process. And this is, as you know, one of the issues there with Bulgaria and Romania. They're not yet into the area because we precisely have still doubts about their justice systems and about their real efficient fight against corruption. So I think Serbia has all the advantages now to learn from these different positive and less positive experiences and to learn from that and to perform better.
Evo imamo jedno pitanje ovdje u plavoj majici.
Hello, everybody. Bonjour.
Hello, bonjour.
I am Andrea Stojanović, and I come from Prehrambeno-ugostiteljska škola, which is a tourism and catering school in Čačak. So, of course, I have to ask, how will joining the European Union affect tourism, and will there be some investments for preserving and presenting our cultural and natural heritage? Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's. I think you have many beauties here in Serbia. I think I have the chance to visit all of the country from Golubac to Čačak to Užice to the south to, as I said, Medveđa also has beautiful spas there. Unfortunately, most of the infrastructure today is not well entertained, not well kept. I think you're right. The challenge is to attract investors so that you can offer good capacities for that and stimulate tourist developments. But Belgrade has a huge reputation as well, notably for the nightlife here, which is supposed to be the best one in the world, apparently, if you read the some newspapers on this. So I think all of Serbia has a greater potential. You need to invest better in these touristic infrastructures. Also, you need to sometimes do little things. I was driving through the iron gates from Golubac to Đakovo, yeah, and to the what is it called? These gates. Never mind. So there, I was driving there, going to Negotin, also down, and I was stopping on the Danube, and there was a big sign. It was a touristic sign. And I stopped there and I said, okay, I'm going to read what it says on this sign. And then I was watching it, and it says, by the way, financed by the European Union. I say, okay, good, that's a good start for me. But then I wanted to read, it was all in Cyrillic. And my Cyrillic is not very good, I must say, I must confess, I'm not really expert there. And I said, well, I imagine other tourists coming from Germany, from Austria, from Romania, from whatever, and they are faced with the same sign, I mean, all written in Cyrillic, all in Serbian. You cannot understand what is there if you're a normal tourist. There was nothing in English, nothing in German, nothing in French or other languages. So I think it's important and I'm happy that you are in this school of tourists, you have to have the reflex to think these signs are not just going to be read by people who understand Serbian and Cyrillic. It's going to be read by others. And if you want to promote your tourists, you have to have brochures, documentation, signatures, signaling that are really in languages that everybody can use, and so have several languages would be easy. Fortunately, I had my son. My son has been to school here, so he was able to read and to translate for me the signs that was there. But not everybody has the same chance as I have.
Imamo jedno pitanje gore, tamo čini mi se da su učenici iz Sjenice, ako se ne varam.
Everybody,
hello.
Guten Tag, Mr. Dejer.
Guten Tag.
My name is Armin Hamidovic, and I'm coming from the high school Jezdimir Lovic from Sjenica, the one you didn't mention.
Yeah.
My question is...
My apologies.
Nicht. My question is...
Ništa. Okay.
Is the European Union able to abate the step of unemployment in Serbia? If yes, how?
Sorry, can you repeat? Is it able to do
what? Is the European Union able to abate the step of unemployment in Serbia? If yes, how? Thanks in advance.
Yes, thank you. I think we have big problems with economic development and crisis, not just in Serbia, and I think in many other countries in Europe as well. So we are in the middle of a world crisis. Didn't start in Europe. Started over the Atlantic, and then it shifted over to us. And we are trying to find the ways and modalities to get over this process. I think the first thing is we have to be confident. We have to be confident in ourselves and confident in what we can do. We have to be creative and innovative. And that's why developing of business environment is very important. What we are trying to do, for example, here in Serbia, is to have a better link between university, notably technical universities, and the business community. I was in Kruševac some time ago. We had bought some equipment for the university to actually create this link between innovation in the universities and products to be produced here in Serbia and developed here in Serbia. So you have to work on creativity, you have to work on business environment. I don't know how many of you want to work in the public administration and how many of you want to work in the business sector. But I think one way of creating activity is for you to go into the business sector and to create your own business and your own activity with some products that you may have as an idea. Of course, what Serbia can do and what Serbia is doing pretty well, I must say, over the years, is to be able to attract investments from other parts of the world, and notably from the European Union. I think we have, over the last 10 years, we had about 11 billion of investments coming from the companies of the European Union here in Serbia, creating many jobs in this context. But as we know, it's not enough. You have an unemployment rate here, which is 25% today. In some parts of Serbia, it's even worse. So we need to improve that. As I said, we need first to have stability. We need to stimulate entrepreneurship. We need to have better innovation, more quality products, and we need to work hard and work harder sometimes than we have been in the past. Serbia has another difficulty in that. If you talk about the economy, there are several problems there. First, you have public companies, which are not extremely competitive, to be honest. Look at the debts of EPS or the debts of Serbia Gas. These are huge, 1 billion euros each of them as a debts in their, because they don't get the bills paid by the consumers. This is the first problem, but not only that. So there's a need to reform and to have these companies becoming more productive and more efficient. Is it possible? Yes. Take Niš, the petroleum company. It was bought in 2006 by Gazprom Neft, obviously, and they restructured completely the company. The company was losing money, was losing about, I think, 100 million euros per year. After it was bought, 2 years after, it was making profit of 400 million euros per year. So the investment that had been done 2 years before was reimbursed just in 2 years' time, actually, because of that good performances. Of course, it meant restructuring. It meant that it had to be more productive, that the workforce there needed to be better trained, needed to be working better, but that's something that is possible. So I think what Serbia needs to do is to tackle these different companies, Galenica, Yacht, as I said, Serbia Gas, all these companies, to really make these companies more profitable and more business-oriented. And that's a big challenge, which is there for 10 years. Has not been properly tackled. I understand the government now these days is really wanting to tackle this issue and to make it work better, I think this is the way ahead, because then it means that these companies are paying taxes, are paying to the budget of Serbia, and then the state has more money to invest and to help other businesses to do that.
Zovem se Dušan, idem u medijsku školu u Zemunu i teo bi samo da...
Sačekaj, samo slušalice. Sad može.
Teo bih da prokomentarišem da o Evropskoj uniji Srbima ne treba držati nikakva predavanja ni ispiranja mozgova, niti davati knjižice, jer o Evropskoj uniji Srbima dovoljno govore... Jer o Evropskoj uniji Srbiji dovoljno govore bombe 99. oteto Kosovo i 15 tona uranijuma. I 15 tona uranijuma koji danas ubijaju Srbe i povećavaju kancer svake godine. I teo bi samo da pitam, kako vas nije sramota da nakon otimanja Kosova ispirate mozgove?
Okay.
Ajmo sada da saslušamo odgovor.
Okay, very delicate and controversial questions. First of all, I don't think it's the European Union that has taken away Kosovo from Serbia. If I was listening to your Prime Minister a few weeks ago, I think he was clearly saying that events happened in '99, and it's not been provoked at that time by the European Union. The war that took place at that time was not the fact of our policy of the European Union here in Kosovo or in Serbia. So these wars that took place had some other origin, and if you're looking for perpetrators for what happened at that moment of time, you should go back in history and maybe study a little bit history in that context and see who was responsible for that situation at that time. Now, there are people living there in Kosovo, and the problem is to see how can they live side by side, the different communities that live in Kosovo today. I don't know if you have a solution. Is your solution to say we have to continue the war and we have to go back and maybe to get rid of the communities that we don't want to see living in Kosovo? I don't know. Give me an answer, because I don't know what your solution is in this respect. It's a very serious problem. You can clap hands, you can support me, but I mean, you have at a certain point of time to answer what is the way forward. What do? We restart the war to reconquer Kosovo? I mean, what is your options? Our options was to say it's not the solution to restart this process, because I think this region honestly has lived enough wars in the past, and I think it deserves a little bit of peace and a little bit of stability for the future. So what we are doing is not to propose solutions. What we have done is we brought Mr. Taci and Mr. Dacic on the table, and we asked them to find a solution, what they consider as the appropriate solution for the future. And they are the ones that make the deal. It's not the European Union that has been imposing any type of deal in this process. So I disagree fully with what you've been saying, that we took away anything from Serbia in that context. If anything was taken away from Serbia, it was probably already happening due to the historical background that took place 13 years ago. And today we have to look forward, and we have to find a solution to live side by side and to bring stability to this region. Because if we want to face the challenges of the future, it's because we can have stability. If we cannot, if we continue to fight each other every 5 years, every 10 years, we'll continue to be the loser sides here in Europe altogether.
Evo odgovora, idemo sada ovde na desnu stranu. Ovdje. Može.
Ja sam Aleksandra Stanković iz ekonomske škole Đukadinić iz Leskovca i želela bih da pitam...
Samo slušalice. Može.
Želela bih da pitam kako bi se situacija u zemlji uopšte promenila i koliko brzo?
Ako bi ušli u Evropsku uniju.
Well, as I said, what would change is that the reforms would accelerate here in Serbia. I mentioned the reforms before. Corruption, we discussed justice, we discussed quality of water, quality of air. All these changes would take place. But what is more, I think, important and essential is that Serbia would be perceived as a place of stability and development. And you cannot have economic development, attract investors here in Serbia if you're not perceived in the world as a place of development and a place of stability. So this is what it will bring. I think we had already, each time I'm meeting investors from the member states, from the US and from others, they always come and say, what is the future of Serbia? Where is Serbia going? And if I can give the answer saying, yes, well, we believe Serbia is moving towards the path to the European Union, which in our view means more predictability, more security, better functioning justice system, more rule of law, better rights for citizens, and more respect of human rights in general, gender equality, all those rights which are fundamental for you and me, then people say, okay, that's a place where I can invest, and that's a place where I can make business. And that's what's count, and that's what can be changing the situation for Serbia in the future. If on the contrary, you cannot give an answer and say that's the direction that Serbia is taking, and we don't know where Serbia is going, then of course there's doubts, and then there's a question mark what to do. Sometimes, and let's be frank, I mean, sometimes you hear people saying, oh, but there are alternatives to the development of Serbia. Why don't we become member of the Russian Federation, or why don't we become another province of China? I mean, ask your question: is this realistic? And is it what you want? I mean, that's also the question that you have to think of. Do you see the place of Serbia as part of the Russian Federation, or the China, or I don't know, or of Brazil, if you want to do, or United States, if you want to do? Well, it's obvious. To me, at least to me, it looks like when you look at the map and you look at the history of Serbia, it belongs to Europe. I mean, it's in the middle of Europe, it's connected to Europe all over. It has 80% or 85% of its trade with the European Union and with the countries of the region here, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Macedonia, and Croatia. So it's completely there. And in my view, its future is there. But you can have a different view. But think about other elements. What we consider as fundamental is the values that we are attached to, meaning democracy, meaning freedom of press. Are you sure that internet is free everywhere in the world? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that you can have free access to internet everywhere and that internet is not controlled in some parts of the world. Look at the freedom to create, freedom of expression, or freedom to demonstrate, free media. You think everywhere in the world it exists that you have freedom of expression and free media? It's not the case. It's not the case. There are many countries in the world, amongst those some I've been mentioning, where you have such problems. Is the possibility of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, those who are defending human rights, do you think they can work everywhere without constraints, without pressure, without being censoring? No, this is not the case everywhere in the world. This is the case where we live, here in Europe. It's not the case in many parts of the world. So think about it. Once you want to think about options for the future, look at these options and what they offer. And nobody's brainwashing anybody in this respect. I mean, we are here to have a debate, and I'm coming back to what the question that was raised before. I'm not here to to convert you or to preach you. I'm here to answer your questions, and that's an effort I'm making. I'm making that effort to be in a total open discussion, and there is no taboo, and I'm happy to have your questions, whatever they are. But I think if you can have similar debates everywhere in the world. Maybe not. Thank you.
Idemo ovde sa ove leve strane malo.
Dobar dan.
Ja sam Dušan Raduljko iz 9. Beogradske gimnazije i pošto moji prijatelji i ja nismo imali šanse da postavljamo pitanja, postavio bi dva. Prvo, pričali ste dosta o tome šta Srbija može da dobije od Evropske unije, a pošto ovo jeste dogovor, kao što ste i sami rekli, niste pomenuli koji je interes Evropske unije u Srbiji. I isto bih htio da primetim da je na videu koji nam je pokazan Kosovo prikazano kao samostalna država. Da li je to namerno ili subliminalno, ako biste mogli mi odgovoriti.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the second one because that's the most common one I have to answer on this issue. I mean, in our union, we have different points of view on the issue of the Kosovo. We have a number of countries which have recognized Kosovo, as you know. We have another group of countries which have not recognized Kosovo. So whenever we are talking about Kosovo, we're not saying whether it's a country or a province. We say it's an entity, and we leave the options open in this respect. And it will be, again, for Belgrade and Pristina to find a way to live together side by side and to define their future together. Again, it's not again for me to say it is a country or it is a province. It's for the two parties to find a modus vivendi on how this can work and how this can move forward. And what we are trying to do, at least, is to offer a framework where the two of them can meet and can discuss and can find a compromise. And as I said before, I was very happy they were able to find a compromise. It's not been imposed by the European Union. It's been the solution that the two prime ministers sitting next to each other, discussing with each other, have been able to find in this context. What's the interest for the European Union? I think it's a very simple interest. I think we want to avoid what has been happening in the past, what happened when Yugoslavia broke out in 91, and the 4 years of war that took place here. We want to avoid what has been happening in 99 afterwards. So we want simply to make sure that close to our borders, there is no risk of new conflicts coming up. And this we can only achieve if we are able to have a proper discussion and proper dialogue and understanding between people and understanding between different cultures. This is simply our interest. It's an interest of stability that we want to have. Because if we have stability, then we can have development and then we can have growth in this respect. So that's our single interest. And it's not easy. It's not easy because when I go back to France, when I meet my friends in France, they ask me, but where do you work? I say, I work in Serbia. I'm trying to help Serbia to become a member of the European Union. And they say, but why? Why are you doing this? Don't you think we have enough countries in the European Union? It's already complex enough with 27. So why do you want to add more countries to the European Union? Then I have to convince them, like I'm trying to do with you today here. I have to convince my friends in France to say, no, well, it's important for us because we want to have better economic development in the region. We want to have stability. We want to have peace in the area. They say, yes, but listen, if the result is that we have more people begging in our streets, if we have more poverty important in the European Union, why do we bother about these people there? We have enough problems. Let's stay between us, and that's good enough. So you see, I'm doing this here. I'm doing this back home as well, trying to convince the two sides that we have a common interest to live together side by side.
Ostalo nam je još nekih 15 minuta, evo još da ograničimo sve na 3 pitanja. Imali smo pitanje od Ande, evo imat ćemo jedno pitanje sa balkona. Ajmo balkon.
Good day, my name is Aleksandar Marinkovic. I come from medical school in Belgrade. I will speak in Serbian now if you have nothing against it. Zašto se veći kriterijumi postavljaju Srbiji nego ostalim zemljama koje su ušle već u Evropsku uniju, kao i zašto je Grčka još uvek članica Evropske unije ako ona još uvek ima sporna pitanja sa Kiprom oko njegove nezavisnosti, kao što Srbija ima i sa Kosovom. Toliko.
Well, actually, Greece has no dispute with Cyprus. They are getting very good along together. The problem we have with Cyprus is that Cyprus is divided, as you know, and we've tried. When Cyprus joined the European Union back in 2004, there was a referendum just 3 days before Cyprus joined the European Union. And there was a referendum between the northern part and the southern part of Cyprus to decide whether they would reunified. And we had great hopes that they would decide so. The northern part, which is populated with majority of Turkish origin, compared to the southern part, which is more of Greek origin, the Turkish part voted in favor of reunification at that moment of time. Unfortunately, the southern part voted against, and therefore the island, in a way, remained separated when he joined the European Union. That being said, we're still working since all these years, since 9 years, trying to reunify the two sides and bring Cyprus as a unified country within the European Union today. Sorry, your question, I forgot now. Yeah, the standards. As I said before, there are several considerations. Nobody is making life more difficult for Serbia as it has been for Croatia or as it has been for Bulgaria and Romania. It is true, nevertheless, and I accept that element, that we are becoming more demanding on the respect of the criteria. Criteria are the same, but the way the criteria are observed have been more intensified, in a sense that, as I told you before, when we were discussing with Romania, for instance, fight against corruption, they had a very good Minister of Justice. And that minister, lady minister, by the way, and she was extremely active in the fight against corruption until the day of accession of Romania. And then, on the day of accession, she lost her position in the government. She was sacked from the government because she was probably too active and too efficient in her duties. And unfortunately, the reform process and the good results in the fight against corruption that we had seen over the years suddenly somewhat stopped in this context. And that has been a lesson that we have learned in a way. So when we are doing this fight against corruption, we don't wait just to see some first results. We want to see the country able to show us that they not only have good laws and good ministers, but that they are in the duration delivering on results over a certain period of time, so that we are sure that the reforms will continue in that direction. So we are not making things more difficult, simply we are a little bit more prudent maybe than we have been in the past to make sure that once an orientation is taken, it is continued in the future. The other element is that over the time, the European Union is changing. It's becoming more and more integrated, as you know. Schengen area is something that did not exist 40 years ago. Single currency is something also that is not more than 12 years old these days. So these are new developments. Having a unified justice systems in Europe, they have a European arrest warrant. All these issues are new issues. So when countries are joining the club, they have to adapt to these new laws, new sectors, new policies that we have been developing over the time. So the union itself is a moving target. It's getting more and more integrated, more and more closer between the countries which are building the European Union, and therefore the countries have to adapt also to this new reality. And that's what we're doing.
Pretposlednje pitanje, evo ide sad sa ove strane i posle jedno odande.
Ja sam Mihajlo Grbović iz srednje škole Nikola Tesla, ekonomski tehničar. I želeo bih da pitam, za 99. godinu postoji... Za 99. godinu postoji Međunarodni sud. Zašto niko nije odgovarao za ubijene civile? I za Kosovo i Metohiju isto. Vi nam ga ne oduzimate, nego ga deo po deo, pomalo, sisate od nas. Isto tako imam prijatelje širom Evropske unije i koji kažu da je isto bilo da ste koji su članice Evropske unije iz Rumunije, Bugarske i ostalih zemalja, isto kažu da je kao i u Srbiji bez posla, nigde nema posla, slabo kriza.
Well, I start with the jobs, maybe, to start with that one. Well, I think I answered already your question before. I think the economic development, we are in a financial crisis, economic crisis. There's nothing to hide in this context. And this is why all of our countries have to manage the public funding in a better way than they have been before. You cannot spend more money than what you earn. Unfortunately, that's what some of our countries have been doing in the past years, and we have to learn from that, and we have to reimburse our debts and have a better management of public funding. And if we do so, we are able to create more jobs. Some of our countries are doing well. Sweden, Germany, Holland, and others. So if you are managing well your portfolio and your resources, you are able to be a good economy, a good performing economy. Germany is exporting for 70 billion euros every month. It's a huge performance, and there's no reason why other countries should not be able to do as Germany or Sweden or Holland are doing today. So I think we have to learn from that experience. Again, you use this word, we are taking away anything. We are not taking away anything. I mean, I think on the Kosovo issue, I explained myself already very much. I think things happen in 99, and if you have, apart from the slogan that I hear that you are using, if you have a solution on how to deal with the issue, I'm happy to hear it. I'm really happy to tell me how you see the solutions for the future on this Kosovo file. You know very much as I do, that in Kosovo there are about 2 million inhabitants today, including 1.8, according to last census, 1.8 million people who are from Albanian ethnicity. So, and they don't have the same view as you have on this issue. So, you have to ask yourself, what is the solution? You want to expel 1.8 million people from that part? What do you do? I mean, I don't see your solution. I mean, you have to have a discussion. In my view, I mean, what we are saying is you have to have a discussion with the people living there and try to find the best possible solution. And I think the solution that was found last week is, for me, a suitable solution, because everybody is agreeing on living together. Everyone has a different interpretation whether this belongs to this or that belongs to this one, and I think that makes the possibility to move forward. I don't see in the ones that have been using the slogan that we were taking something away from you, and I never heard any concrete proposal. I'm happy to hear it. I mean, honestly, it's a question. If anybody has a solution on how to deal better with this issue, please let me know. Please let me know, because I'm here for 3.5 years. I'm listening to that, but I never heard anybody beyond this slogan that you've been repeating giving me any, neither on balcony nor here, a concrete answer on that question. We have our view on how to resolve it. Maybe we are wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me what, but don't tell me just a slogan. You take away something from me, but give me a solution on how to move forward. I think this is something that is obviously lacking in this context. International justice. We are extremely supportive of international justice. When I was in Croatia in 2005, we were still looking for Mr. Gotovina at that time, and we had suspended negotiations, the opening of negotiations with Croatia, until Gotovina was arrested. He was arrested. He spent 6 years in Den Haag, in jail, waiting for his sentence. First sentence was 24 years of jail. Second sentence, he was acquitted. I'm not going to comment on the decision of the judges. If the judges took that decision, they took it based on the evidence that were submitted to them. Some of the judges on first instance were convinced, others in second instance were not convinced. That being said, we continue to maintain that international justice, whether you talk about Rwanda, whether you talk about Sierra Leone, whether you talk about Croatia, Serbia, or Kosovo, is a must. Because those who commit crimes have to know that they will one day be able to face justice. And whether they will be sentenced or not, this I cannot predict, because I'm not the judge and I'm not sitting there. But what I'm convinced of is that everybody that has committed crimes has to go and has to fear that one day he will be facing justice.
I posljednje pitanje, evo imamo ovde gore, ima puno ruku, sva ostala pitanja koja su vam neodgovorena možete slobodno da pošaljete u EO Info centar, a sada čujemo i posljednje pitanje.
Good afternoon, my name is Kenan Kučević and I'm coming from high school Jezdimir Lović, Sjenica. I have two questions. First, what's the plan of Europe to save our planet? Because today it's a very big problem. And second, is there a relationship between America and Europe? Thank you.
Yeah, well, first what to do to save the planet. We have many challenges. We have climate change, which is one big challenge that we have. What we are doing in Europe is try to have better policies to protect our environment. We have 20% of less of gas emission, so having less pollution by our cars, less pollution by our industries. We want to have more energy efficiency, so reduce by 20% the use of energy that we are doing by saving energy. I'm afraid always when I'm living here in Belgrade that everybody's in the winter, they all open the windows and so on and so forth because energy is central heating and they don't care about the price of that. I think that's one way is to say, no, let's keep the windows closed because it costs a lot of money to heat up the outside world. So I think this is energy efficiency. Serbia can do much better, and we collectively everywhere we can do much better in this context. And the other element is to promote renewable energy, meaning wind energy, hydro energy, and these other sources of energy which are not polluting our atmosphere. But we have many other challenges. Water quality. As you know, maybe in Serbia, many of the pipelines which you have bringing your drinking waters have been built some 20 or 30 years ago. And these pipelines, for several of them, are built with asbestos. So in the composition of these pipelines, there is asbestos. And asbestos, as you may know, is not very good for your health. So one way of doing it is that's European standards, is actually to change these pipelines and to have pipelines which are safe, which can bring you the drinking water. So those are the challenges that we have. Challenges that we have worldwide is also to preserve peace in general in the world. And this is what we are doing with our other partners. You mentioned the United States. Well, yes, we have relation with the United States. We have, there are things we agree with, there are things we don't agree. We agree to have commercial exchanges. We disagree when we talk about Guantanamo or when we talk about death penalty. We in Europe are against, clearly, death penalty. We consider this as an inappropriate sanctioning, whereby the United States, with other countries in the world, like China and others, are still applying death penalty in their respective country. We consider it as not a good way of sanctioning people. They have different views on that. So we have sometimes agreements and sometimes we have disagreements with our American colleagues or Chinese colleagues or Russian colleagues, whatever they are.
To je bilo posljednje pitanje. Your Excellency, thank you for your time.
Thank you all.
Hvala svima vama što ste došli. Nadam se da ste neki od vas saznali ono što vas je interesovalo. Još jednom vam ponavljam, oni koji imaju još pitanja mogu da pošalju na Facebook stranicu EO Info centra ili na mail. i bit će vam sva pitanja odgovorena. Još jednom hvala puno i vidimo se i lepo se provedite u nastavku dana.